So, sorry about all that. And sorry about last week when we kind of switched the time, and then we just got something from USDA about an hour and a half before the meeting that they were going to have a webinar for the state agencies yesterday. So I thought we would get some more answers on that call to be able to help us out for this call. And we did, but we didn't. So I can't say that I'm surprised, but basically on April 20th, we received 12 waivers. 9 of them were new and 3 of them are extensions. Okay, but Kendra, where's my mute? No, I'm on, but where's my little thing down here to be able to advance my slides?
Can you pull up the PowerPoint again?
I don't think I'm going to be able to.
So that way she can't fast forward through it.
I don't have the option to advance a slide. We are still here, still having screen sharing issues. We got it to share, but we can't get the little option to advance our slide. Okay, I think we're there. You need to turn yours.
That's me.
Okay, sorry about all that, everybody. Like I was saying, we got it. Like I was saying a few minutes ago, I apologize for all the technical difficulties today. We also apologize for having to reschedule the call last week, but like I did mention, USDA came out with a webinar for the state agencies yesterday afternoon that we wanted to be able to listen to, as well as give these updates. We were hoping we'd have a few more answers based on that webinar. We got a couple, but we didn't get very many. So we're going to go through, like we always do on these calls, we're going to go through our PowerPoint presentation. Then we're going to switch over so we can see the chat, and we'll start answering questions in the chat. I just want you to know, I will not have all the answers that you are wanting today. I just want you to know that up front. We sent in, after we received these memos, the states in our region had a call with just the states. We came up with probably 25 to 30 questions that these waivers generated for us as a state agency and what we feel that you all are going to want to know. And we sent them to our regional office. They said they would get some of them answered with what they knew, and then they would forward them to national office to try and get some additional answers. In the meantime, that time frame, we had the webinar yesterday, got a couple answers, but not all of them. So I'm going to give you this based on what I've done on every one of these calls after waivers were issued, is what we know as of right now. I also know, based on that webinar yesterday, that there will be a huge amount of Q&As coming out to answer these questions. So we will be having another call. If I feel unsure about an answer because I don't want to give you any wrong information, we will just table that question. And I hate doing that because I want you to have as much information as you can, but I also don't ever want to give you wrong information, have to turn back something you've already implemented and say, no, we can't do that. So we're going to do the best we can. But like I said, there were 12 nationwide waivers issued about April 20th. 9 of them are brand new, helping you to operate for next school year. 3 are extensions. So the first one is actually 84, and it's just a cover letter talking a little bit about COVID, talking about the flexibilities that have been offered, talking about the actual waivers that are starting on 85. So I'm just going to fast forward to 85. It is nationwide waiver 85 to allow seamless summer option through school year 21-22. This waiver is allowing all schools to participate in SSO, seamless summer option, for school year 22. It may be used by any school, regardless of location or type of SSO site being operated. So if you are a district that normally does not meet the 50% or have a site that does not meet the 50% free and reduced, you still are allowed to operate seamless summer for school year 21-22, starting in August. It allows for schools to offer safe meals, even if you need to serve outdoors or in the classroom when you're back at school. Allows for speedier service of students. Allows for schools to not have to handle free or reduced meal applications. Allows for greater flexibility to distribute meals to students. A point of service must be maintained or taken. Number 86 is the nationwide waiver to allow summer food service program reimbursement rates in school year 21-22. This allows for the SFA to claim SSO meals or snack, depending on the combination you're doing, and you will receive the summer food service program reimbursement rates. Those are the higher rates. So you're going to operate SSO, but you're going to get paid at the summer feeding rates. There is not an option to offer summer food service program next school year. SSO only, paid at the summer reimbursement rates. Guidance is still coming on which SFSP rate is going to be used. If you're not familiar with summer feeding, there's 2 sets of rates. There's a rule/self-prep rate, and there's an all other type of sites rate. We found out yesterday on our webinar, they have not deemed which rate will be paid. More guidance coming. This will help cover the increased reimbursement rate, will help cover the increased operational costs during the pandemic, which could include hazard pay, personal protective equipment, meal deliveries, and packing grab and go meals. Okay, next, 87 is the nationwide waiver to continue to allow non-congregate meal service for school year 21-22. So what this is going to do is if your district still offers a virtual option next school year because of COVID, but also has in person, this will allow you to feed those virtual kids in the grab and go model. I am hearing that most schools are going back in person, but there may be the option for virtual too. It's a district to district decision. And guidance is still coming on if you will be able to feed the siblings of the enrolled students. So younger kids, we don't know that yet. Number 87.
Jennifer, let's make sure we are recording.
It shows on mine we are.
Okay, I was just asked that question.
It shows on the corner of mine we are recording. Okay. Number 88 waiver is for mealtime requirements for school year 21-22. So again, if you have a virtual option and you want to do a grab and go for those that are not at school and you want to get breakfast and lunch at the same time, or what we understand, multiple meals will still be allowed. We haven't been told yes or no. This will allow for that. So it allows the SFAs to serve meals outside of the regulatory meal times. The regulations are stated right there. It allows SFAs to send multiple meals home with students at the same time if the district is operating a virtual option. As far as we know, this includes the CACFP at-risk meals to be sent home with students. However, if students are attending in person, the at-risk meals must be served at the end of the school day, and the educational enrichment activity is still required. Number 89, This one is the nationwide waiver to allow parents and guardians to pick up meals for children for school year 21-22. Again, if your district is offering a virtual option, parent guardian pickup of food will still be allowable. It will look much like it does and has for the last, what are we in, 14 months now? This is allowed if not practicable for students to pick up meals. This allows parents or guardians to pick up meals on behalf of students if there's a virtual option through the district. SFAs must still have a way to maintain program integrity, must have a process to ensure meals are distributed to parents or guardians of eligible children, must ensure duplicate meals are not distributed to any child, record the names on a roster or check names off a roster. And we're still waiting on guidance if this will be allowed for siblings of enrolled students. So like a 2-year-old that's not enrolled, waiting on guidance on that. Okay, this one's a biggie, but listen closely. Number 90 is a specific school meal pattern flexibility waiver for school year 21-22. There are specific bulleted items that it's allowing flexibility for. This is not a blanket waiver. Do not think you don't have to do these. This is not a blanket meal pattern flexibility waiver. The waiver offers flexibility to meal patterns listed below. The first bullet, that menus meet the dietary specifications for sodium regarding breakfast and lunch. Those are the 2 regs that are listed there. That all grains offered be whole grain rich, according to the meal patterns for SSO. That preschoolers, at least 1 serving per day across all eating occasions must be whole grain rich per the guidelines of breakfast and lunch. To offer a variety of vegetables from the vegetable subgroups per the regulation. To offer a variety, at least 2 different options of fluid milk. That low-fat milk must be flavored. And to plan menus and offer food components for specified age grade groups instead of groups in the stated combinations at 7 CFR 210 and 220. Okay, we'll get a little bit more on this in a minute. FNS expects schools to meet the meal pattern standards to the best of their ability. Currently, there are no food shortages or anything from keeping you from meeting the SSO meal patterns. And these waiver requests, if they're submitted, will be approved on a case-by-case basis. Just because there's this flexibility doesn't mean that those bulleted items go out the window. The waiver specifically states you have to still follow the meal patterns if you're able to, meaning there's no food shortages right now. Everybody, and again, this is for next school year. Keep that in mind when you go back in August. So this will be handled. We're still working out the logistics of how we're going to have you all submit that. We believe we're going to tie it into the SSO application in CARS, but we're doing some planning in our office as well. I mean, we have to let you all know this, but we also have to have all our processes in place as well. So we're working on what that will look like. But again, it is not a blanket waiver. Okay, number 91. Oh, that's right, I added a slide. Okay, one thing we added this slide after the webinar yesterday. We did find out as far as sodium for next school year, USDA did state, like the slide says, per USDA, due to the need for prepackaged shelf-stable food, we are allowing that you only have, we as a state can do this. In fact, they're encouraging every state to do it. So we are going to allow that you only have to meet the sodium target 2 for school year 21-22 with no approval needed. Okay, so there's that. Okay, now 91. There is a waiver pertaining to meal pattern flexibility for the child and adult care food program, which would include the at-risk program, in this case for your schools. This is a waiver that Oklahoma is choosing not to opt into. So everything with CACFP will stay the same. 92. This is a nationwide waiver to allow the offer versus serve flexibility for the high school level. Per regulation 7 CFR 1010 little e, it requires operators of senior high schools to participate in offer versus serve at the lunch meal service. This waiver is allowing for that to not happen So your high schoolers can come through the line, get everything, and just go. You don't have to do this. It's just an option. You can opt out of offer versus serve for the high school level. I'm not sure many of you will, but it is an option still. Number 93 is the nationwide waiver of area eligibility in the after-school programs and for family daycare home providers for school year 21-22. We're just, for this call, going to address the area eligibility as far as the at-risk program, and it includes also the after-school snack program. So again, much like the SSO waiver, regardless of where you're located, if you're approved for at-risk, you can serve that supper meal and snack if you choose. This will also cover the after-school snack program through the NSLP. Keep in mind the enrichment or educational component of these two programs has not been waived. Okay, waivers 94, 95, and 96 are the extensions that USDA has granted to monitoring if you can't do the monitoring in safely. They're still allowing for desk reviews. Nothing's changed with these. They've just been extended through school year 21-22, and it will remain in effect for 30 days after the end of the public health emergency, and that's at the federal level. Once the federal level calls off the federal health emergency, you would have 30 days to get into compliance with, back into compliance with monitoring on site, is what that is. And it also gives the agency some flexibility as well. Though that rounds out the last three of the waivers. So a couple of additional things that were kind of takeaways from us from that webinar yesterday, because like I said, there weren't a lot of questions answered. If you are currently approved and operating the at-risk, which is what everybody calls the third meal or the supper meal, you must stop serving the at-risk program on your last day of school. It will not be allowed to be served through the summer. You must follow the Smart Snack guidelines if you participate in a la carte for next school year, just like you had to for this school year. Smart Snack guidelines have not been waived. The additional 7 cents will not be issued for SSO next school year since you are being paid at the higher SFSP rate. And then a lot of people who were on CEP have been asking if, because they didn't operate this year, will they get a gap year, and that is not going to be allowed. So then just a couple reminders for community eligibility provision. If you're currently operating CEP, you want to start operating CEP or looking into it, or thinking of reestablishing your CEP to see if your numbers are higher, you will want to go ahead and pull your direct cert information and your enrollment information for this school year and see what your percentage is. The reason for this is if your ISP percentage is higher this year, you will want to lock that in for 4 years. Because potentially if you wait a year, even though you're operating SSO and feeding everyone free, you can do that. But if you wait a year to lock, your number might go down. There's just no way to know. You at least need to be aware and look into it to do what's best. Even though, like I said, you're going to be operating SSO this year. And as a reminder, there was a waiver you can pull any month in school year 2021 for your direct cert and enrollment information. You've got to pull the enrollment with it though. And then as a reminder, you must let the state agency know by September 30th if you are going to elect CEP for school year 21-22. Not that you're necessarily going to operate it that way because you're going to do SSO, but you would have to make that your year to elect. So, okay, just a couple reminders on that. An email went out a week or so ago, or maybe earlier this week, regarding some calls we had received as far as schools that contract with the food service management company. Just need you guys to know that contract pricing cannot be changed during the contract period. It is the school food authority's responsibility to manage the contract with the food service management company. The only change in contract can be at the annual CPI increase or decrease at the yearly renewal time. The contract can only change that amount, and that is verified in this office before your renewal is approved. There are no waivers allowing the management company to charge outside of the price per meal on the contract due to COVID-19 or for any other reasons. We've had several schools ask, and that answer is no. Okay, as far as school reviews for school year 21-22 that we do at the state agency, USDA stated they do expect us to conduct reviews next year, and they will be issuing guidance on what this will look like for us very soon. So we do know we will be doing reviews. We just don't know what they'll look like. So more to come on that. Very little right here on PEBT, but we are moving forward slowly but surely. So the couple things I need you all to know. There is going to be a training, be it a webinar or a call for PEBT very soon. So be on the lookout for that. It'll probably go out from us, and it will probably go out from the State Department of Education to your administration as well. I need you to know and to pass along, do not roll over your student information system until you have verified October to June information for PEBT. This will be discussed more on the training that's coming. Please let your administration know this as well. Okay, the next call is May 10th, and then we'll have one, of course, unless we need to get with you sooner, we'll have one on May 24th. And then after May 24th, we are looking at moving the school call to monthly for June and July. Of course, unless guidance or information is released, and we would need to have a call prior to that monthly call. It's just what we're looking at for the summer. Again, the recordings are always posted on CARS, and the last one is there. Okay.
Sorry. Well,
No.
I just kind of went crazy.
You're good. We can go to the chat,
All
or
right.
you can go to, there you go. Okay, give us a second to scroll into the chat where we need to pick up everybody telling us hello. And I know we had some issues because the music was on, and then we had some technical issues, but I know there's some questions. I've seen them while I was talking. Okay, we're getting there.
About 148.
Oh, I'm not near far enough down then. Thank you.
146 says, will we do SSO instead of SFSP?
Okay, I'm almost there.
146 is that one.
Well, golly, I didn't go near far enough. I'm scrolling as fast as I can. You guys are faster than me. Okay, there we go. I think I found it. Okay, so okay. The first question I've got is, will we have to do SSO instead of SFSP? You don't have an option to do SFSP once school starts. They are only giving you the option of SSO. You will be paid the SFSP rate, which is higher, but you have to do SSO. Okay. Nancy, can you serve breakfast, lunch, and snack under SSO? What we know as of right now, because this is a question we submitted, so we're going to go with what we know right now. You'll do breakfast and lunch under SSO, and you'll do snack if you choose to do so under National School Lunch, or I guess you could do it under at-risk if you're approved for at-risk. That's what we know right now. That is a question we've sent, and I know other states have sent it as well. So next school year, we cannot do SFSP. Is that what waiver 86 means? Waiver 86 is stating that you will receive the summer food service program reimbursement rate, but go to waiver 85, you will be operating the seamless summer option. I never would have dreamed that would be an option, but it is. Never say never, apparently. Haven't we all said that at some point in our life? The waivers are on CARS. They're on CARS. USDA's website, there are a lot of places, but they are on our CARS system. So somebody mentioned that. What we know as of right now, you will not have to take free and reduced applications because you're feeding everyone for free under SSO. Which that that snowballs. That means, what about verification? What about low income? What about this? What about that? We don't have guidance on that yet. Next question, so no lunch applications. What about verification? No lunch forms, no verification. Exactly. We have sent that to USDA for guidance. But if you don't have applications, you can't do those. Correct. That's we've added that. No apps would also mean no low income report. We have added that to our questions that were sent to USDA that are going to the national office. You can do fat-free flavored milk. Yes, that's what you should do. That's what the meal pattern is for SSO. And
Back to the old meal pattern.
yeah, because you're following the SSO meal pattern the way it was originally. NSLP back in what year was that? 2012. Yeah. No. If you're granted a meal pattern flexibility waiver, which will be handled on a case-by-case basis, then you would be able to do the flavored 1% milk. But there's not a reason that you can't do fat-free milk, so therefore you need to do fat-free milk. Well, we have to document that our kids don't like whole wheat tortillas, have not been told that yet. That is something we're waiting on guidance for, Nancy. May I ask what the sodium target 2 is? I was going to write that down and I got called away to a meeting and I never did. I'll have someone look that up. We will get that to you. I thought I was going to have some time this morning to do some initial writing down of stuff like that, and then I had to go. I got called somewhere. Okay, I thought the SSO program covered all children 18 and under, regardless if they were in your district or not. Has that changed? Well, that was the flexibility you had for COVID. We're waiting to hear how they're going to deal with that with the new school year. That's a question we have sent also. So more to come on that question. Oh, you've already rolled. Are you out of school? You normally don't roll over your system unless you're out of school or till June 30th is what we've been told by someone who told us to tell you all not to roll your system over. So the restate the do not roll over part. Do not roll over your student information system. A lot of times school districts do that a little early. Don't do it early this year. There is more to come on that. That is pertaining to PEBT. And like I said in our slide, there's going to be a training and a webinar on PEBT very soon. It's in the works. Do I use NSLP, SSO, OCAS codes for income?
Yes.
Yes. Can you go back to the food service management slide? Somebody messaged me.
Yes.
Instead of everybody. Yes, we're going back to the management company slide. Give us just a second.
There you go.
It is up. It is up. It is up.
What is PEBT?
Yep, I'm going to go to the next question. What is PEBT? Pandemic benefit. It's a pandemic. It's a card that benefits are being issued to for free and reduced children. It happened back, there was a first round of PEBT it covered March, April, and May. And then when schools were 100% shut down last school year, and then USDA has issued another round of PEBT for this school year to deal with virtual. And there's a reporting platform. I can tell you a little bit more. I did finally get to see it the other day. We hadn't seen it. It had been developed, but we hadn't seen it. And basically, it's going to be a option on single sign-on. And I'm talking to people who may not have access to single sign-on, but I'm going to give you a little bit of information. Your district, everything's populated for your district, including the way that attendance was taken this year and reported to the Waive. And there'll be each student on there and their eligibility, free and reduced eligibility. And There's going to be a column for, there's a list of days, a number of days each month. And based on attendance and based on virtual and based on the way school was operating for your district, because everybody did something different. If you were doing a hybrid, or some of you may have been in session all school last year. I did find out there were actually more of those than I thought operating, just going to school. They didn't do hybrid, they didn't do all virtual. And so those in-person schools like that won't have the opportunity for PEBT, but I can't tell you who they were. I don't have that information. Someone else in this department does, or this agency. But any that were hybrid or full virtual, there'll be a $6.82, I believe is what the amount was. It's the free rate, the severe need rate, and the free rate of snack will be issued on a card, much like a credit card that would be swiped to go to the store. So PEBT, so that's coming. There's been a lot of just different reasons for the holdup. I will just say that. I'll keep it to that. When will the application for SSO open? July 1, just like always. Yes, that's what I just talked about, PEBT. So free meals again for school year 21-22, correct. Under the SSO, you will operate the SSO and you will be reimbursed at the summer feeding rates. So if you have been running on summer feeding since March, we now have to move to SSO, yes, in August. You can do SFSP through the summer. If you're operating SFSP right now, you can stay on SFSP until you start school. Once school starts, you switch to SSO. And you will be reimbursed at the summer feeding rates, which is the higher reimbursement rate. So do we have to reapply for the SSO? Yes, that's just like July, everything starts over in July for the new school year. July 1 is the new school year date, also the state fiscal year. And so you will have to reapply in the CAR system. Trainings for ABVM and cafeteria managers.
They're going out Monday.
They're going out Monday. They will be a combination of in-person and Zoom. The reason for that is in some areas we were able to do in person and in some areas we were not able to do in person. It depended on the location. So can I use 21-22 for my, yeah. 21, yeah, yes, you can. Since we will be using SSO, our understanding is there is not a need for free and reduced applications for next school year because you'll be feeding everyone free under SSO and being reimbursed at the summer feeding rate. For the remainder of this school year and summer, you may do summer feeding for the remainder of this school year and the summer. You will switch to SSO when school starts. For those of us approved for summer feeding until 9/30/21, will we need to switch to SSO? Our understanding is, and again, I don't have guidance on this from USDA, but we have asked. Our understanding is you will do summer feeding until school starts. The day school starts, you go to SSO. That could be changed in the guidance, but I believe that is a correct statement. But that is one that I will say could change. So if we are serving summer feeding now, we need to follow SSO for June and July. No. Paula, if you're on summer feeding now, you continue to do everything as you are for summer feeding until school starts. When school starts, you're going to switch to SSO and you're going to be paid at the summer feeding rate. We do not know if staff can eat free. That was a question that's been asked. And we asked, in addition to that, are they going to use what rate to charge the adults, the summer feeding rate or the NSLP rate? We don't know, but typically, no, they're not going to change it to where staff can eat free. They haven't done it yet. They're not going to do it. So I'm going to say no to staff eating free, but what we need to know and what we need guidance on is what amount they have to pay, what adult rate they have to pay. You will be able to fill out the SSO application on July 1. Does the after-school snack still require 7th hour? Yeah, yes, that will be the case still, yes. Our contract with the management company has exceeded the original 150 in the RFP because of COVID and SSO. Somebody there's an email that I have from USDA that talks about this, and when I find it, because it was it was shortly after COVID started last year when we were going through all this, we will be sending something out about that, the material change. In fact, because I've gotten, there's been a call in here and I've gotten an email. So, okay. We don't know about weekend meals for next year yet. That's been a question we've sent also. Did you say a checked roster or meals individually rang into the POS required for all meals? Well, if you're serving, if you're in person and they're going through the line, you can use your point of service for next year. They'll just all be marked as free, but you have to have a point of service count. As far as the grab and go meals, if you are having a virtual option next year at your district and you're choosing to do grab and go meals for those virtual kids, you have to check their name off a roster to ensure that a meal is going to a child, and just like it's been this whole time. We don't know about meals over breaks like Christmas break yet. That's been asked. Any update on the emergency funding that require? Yes, we're still working on it. Plan is due, our second plan is due to USDA May 10th. And then that has to be approved. And then we won't pay out till, what do we decide? June, late June? I think it's late June will end up when it will be paid out. Would we have the option to still offer free and reduced applications for next year?
No, you should, because the application.
You said what, Dana?
They should not.
Oh, gotcha. I don't feel that you need to. I'm not sure why you think you might need to when you're serving everyone for free. It's just an additional burden on the school to have to do that.
An additional burden on the parents.
And the parents, when they already know they're going to get free meals.
Unless they're going to try for provision 2 or 3. No, we may need that question answered.
And that brings up a good question that Dana just brought up. I keep looking to my right because Dana's sitting next to me over here. That does bring up a good question for provision 2 and 3. We need to ask. I'm not sure that was a question we sent or that one of our other states sent. So I'm making a note. Okay, next question. When do we fill out the waivers for next year? Well, as far as these waivers that we just went over, we're opting into all of these except for one as a state, and the one we're not opting to is the CACFP meal pattern flexibility waiver. The only waiver, let me just say this, there's going to be more to come on that. We are working through some processes in this office on how we're going to have you do that. So we've had one little powwow about it, but that did generate some more questions, which we did also send to USDA regarding these. So I'm going to say more to come on that. Steve, I'm asking that as well. Are children required to be enrolled to be served? That's a question we've sent to USDA. Are waivers only because I can't get white biscuits? Not that our kids don't like whole grain biscuits. Again, we're checking into that, Krista, and how that's going to work. From what we understand right now, Christine, you won't do free and reduced applications because you're serving everyone for free under SSO and you're being reimbursed at the summer feeding rate. Okay, well, wind gauge allows, did you see that one?
I see that.
Really?
Wind gauge is mass.
Yeah, that's right, it is.
They may need to talk to wind gauge and reinstate it. why would you roll over early?
But I'm not talking about not rolling over your, I'm talking about not rolling over the student information system. You're referring, I believe, here to this question, your child nutrition program. I can't answer who's eligible for hazard pay. I think it's not just a child nutrition question. I know that different districts are doing different things with some COVID funds that they have outside of child nutrition. It has nothing to do with child nutrition. There are all kinds of funds that these school districts are getting for some different things that have to be earmarked for certain things. That was just in the waiver written that way. That was not something we came up with. I'm not sure why it would have been done in February. Again, I'm not talking about not rolling over your child nutrition system. I'm talking about the student information system.
And I think she is, but she's saying her secretary can work on the new school year. If you wrote PEBT.
All right, it's your student information system. So for confirmation, next school year, we must serve all grains as whole grain rich versus only serving half grains whole rich. That is correct. We were originally doing summer feeding until July. Do we need to change? No. You can do summer feeding until you start school in August. Or I know some very few schools, but there might be one or two that start in July, but it's when you start school, then you will switch to SSO. The cards are based on application. My understanding, the cards are based on applications, so we are encouraged to get apps. Oh, that must be PEBT cards?
Maybe.
It is based on free and reduced status, it is. But again, we don't know that there'll be PEBT the next school year. We don't know that yet.
They can, remember, they can move their 1920 kids
Yeah.
to their 2021.
Yeah, and your 1920, they're, from what the guidance for PEBT says is you can move their 1920 eligibility lunch status forward. Yes, we have been face-to-face all year, but offered virtual and blended. Okay, well, that will come into play as well. So July 1, we only do the SSO application. Now you'll have to do the entire, application system, CARS system, NSLP and everything, because it's tied every year, it's tied to something. And so we need it to be there from year to year. Okay. We've already rolled over using Wingage as well. We started online enrollment for the first time.
We will have a conversation with Eric.
Okay, as far as rolling over of your system, we're going to have a conversation with our data guy. So there'll be more to come on this, and it will be discussed in that training. Yeah, you're right. Let's write that down too. Okay. Okay, Shauna, I believe you said this. I need to open all POs under SSO OCAS code. For the coming school year, you would, yes. Shauna, your coding question. We will not have to fill out the regular, and yes, you will have to fill out that, yes, just like every year. Area eligibility not extended yet. So if I'm running SFSP now under area eligibility waiver, can I continue to do the same for June and July? Yes, you can operate summer feeding until school starts. June, July, and August up until the day you start school, and then you're going to go to SSO and feed all school year starts. You're going to feed all your kids for free under SSO. You'll be reimbursed the summer feeding rates. So we need to fill out the forms for SSO in August. You will fill out the CARS system SSO applications. You can start doing that on July 1 when we roll the system over. We open up the new school year, 21-22 school year in CARS, July 1. Okay, it looks like we don't have to do applications for SSO, but what about snacks? Currently, our snack reimbursement is by free and reduced. We will be able to claim snacks. Yes, you're going to be able to claim snacks all free next school year under NSLP Afterschool Snack Program and do SSO for breakfast and lunch and be paid at the summer feeding reimbursement rate. We are summer feeding through summer. Is there an option to provide a snack during summer school? No. Under summer feeding, you can only do 2 meals, breakfast and lunch, lunch and a snack, breakfast and a snack, snack and a supper, 2 snacks, but you just can't do lunch and supper. So 2 meals under summer feeding. If we don't do our free and reduced lunch application, isn't that going to affect our federal programs? State aid is figured on October 1 numbers that they get from accreditation. Title programs is based on free and reduced, which we do not know yet if they'll let you do 1920. Our assumption, which can be dangerous at times because we don't have guidance on this yet, is that they'll use 1920 again. But I cannot answer that with 100% certainty. Well, the summer feeding rates are online on the SDE website and search summer feeding program in the top right. I don't have them written down off the top of my head. The other thing we don't know yet, sorry, there's testing fire alarms in our office. I'm going to mute for just a second. Okay, I think they might be done. Sorry, I didn't want you all to hear that dinging. They're testing fire alarms. So what we don't know yet is there's 2 different summer rates, and they haven't told us which rate they're going to pay. But they are definitely higher than SSO or NSLP rates, and they will change in January. They always go up. I mean, if you feel like you need to do the free and reduced application, you can. I guess that's going to be your decision. You don't need to, though. I'm a saint. Someone named me a saint. Kim named me a saint. Oh, thank you. You guys are doing great too. I appreciate that. Oh, I'm going to mute again. I don't want you guys to hear the beeping. Okay, I think it stopped. That time we had a gentleman telling us we needed to exit the building, but it is a test. Okay, how will school districts get their E-rate and how does it affect per student funding without meal applications? I can't answer that. All I know, probably similar to what they did this year is they didn't use the free and reduced applications this year because many schools didn't get them. Will you repeat? Does each meal need to be matched to a name, or can you use a tally sheet? If they're eating in school in person and they're going through a line, it's just going to be, it can be at like a total count. It's when you're doing grab and go outside, like you've been doing potentially for the last 14 months, maybe or less. You have to ensure a meal is going to a child. When they're going through that line, there is a child going through that line and taking a tray as they go. So you know a meal is going to a child. It's the grab and go. So everybody's point of service system is different. So I would think you could go through there and just do a count. Since all of them are different, I can't say for certain. I mean, if you wanted to use a tally sheet, I think that would be acceptable too. I haven't heard that it wouldn't be. Can you repeat what you said again about, yeah, PEBT was figured on reduced attendance, reduced hours, or being closed. And so if you were in person, that wasn't going on. So there wouldn't be a PEBT benefit. Now there could have been, I guess, if there was some, what he told us yesterday, quarantining going on or something to that effect, that might be the case. And it's how the administration coded them in the attendance system that goes to the waive. There's a lot to it. Those questions will be answered in that training. CNP eating free. Your direct child nutrition staff do get to eat for free. Your teachers don't get to eat for free. Somebody sent that to me directly. And as far as you charging them, you have to charge them a minimum amount, and we don't know if USDA is going to tell us to charge the NSLP minimum amount or the summer feeding. We're waiting on that. If you're not charging your teachers and other staff besides your true cafeteria staff, non-federal funds have to cover the cost of those meals. Yes, we are having ABVM training. It's just not going to be called ABVM because there's no application, there's no benefit issuance, and there's no verification. So we've renamed it, we've revamped it. It will be, they're going out Monday. It will be, some will be in person and some will be on Zoom, or you can do both if there's a location near you. We could only do certain ones in person because of COVID. A lot of places still aren't allowing groups and meetings and such. So we're doing both.
Jennifer, you might tell them, I think we had someone infiltrate us, and I think we've got it locked down now.
Okay, we apparently had someone hijack our Zoom meeting. And so I was just told this. I haven't seen anything yet. And we've got that locked down. I don't know if we're going to come across anything dirty or nasty, or I don't know, but we'll skip right by it and ignore it. But sometimes that happens. We haven't had it happen yet, so I guess we're lucky. As far as PEBT, there's going to be trainings on that. I'm just going to leave it at that for right now. Grab and go still is full meal even at the high school age for now. Yes, and not offer versus serve for bag meals. Right. You have to get, if you're doing grab and go, you have to give them all items, including the milk. There's not an offer versus serve option for that. Or meals going home for the weekend. They have to have everything. I meant to take precautions to not double serve a kid, but does a meal need to be matched with a kid? If they're, again, I think I addressed this, but if they're in person going through the line, you know that that kid is getting the meal. It's the grab and go issue that we've dealt with for the last 13 or so months. Carry over pay status. I don't know what that means. Carried over pay status. Somebody messaged just me. I'm not sure the question. Somebody messaged me directly, not in the chat, carry over pay status. Can you maybe give me a little more information there? Name, not just kid, meal matched to a name. Okay, I see what you're saying, Krista. I apologize. That has not been mentioned yet, so I'm going to say that I think more will be coming out on that. She's asking, when they go through the line and they're at school, does the system have to show that Johnny took a tray or does Sally took a tray? Whereas could it just be marked off a tally sheet? Let's wait and see if that's addressed in guidance. I'd be more comfortable with that. Will the school need this for other reports? Need what? Not sure what. Will provision 2 and 3 base years be reinstated for next year? We don't know yet. That is a question that came up earlier and we're going to ask. Kitchen staff eating. Your kitchen staff are allowed to eat for free. They are directly involved in the operation of food service, of child nutrition. You don't claim those meals. You never claim adult meals. Never claim adult meals, but you can feed your staff, kitchen staff for free. Not teachers, not administration, but your kitchen staff. If a child is approved for free reduced meals, they can get a scholarship for sports, low-cost internet, etc. So offering an application will benefit the family. Is this an option? Certainly it is an option for you all to take applications. It is. I'm not telling you not to take them. I'm telling you you don't have to take them. I do agree that there are those options for kids based on free and reduced. Will the school need free reduced counts for other program funds? I think I addressed that a little bit earlier. State aid funding is based on October 1 numbers. It has nothing to do with free and reduced numbers. And title programs is based on free and reduced, but they've allowed for this current school year that we are currently in, they allowed for the 1920 numbers to be used for 2021. People use the free and reduced. Okay, yeah, we just addressed that. Not sure if you've done SSO. If we've done SSO before, are the meal requirements the same? The meal requirements for SSO are the same as NSLP. So you will have to follow the NSLP meal patterns when you serve SSO next school year. If there are no, okay, we've already addressed that. Is title money and E-rate based on free and reduced numbers? Yes, it is, and that has not been addressed by title programs or E-rate yet, so I can't answer that. And that will have to come from USDE, not USDA. Since we will operate SSO next year, PK through 12, will we have the same meal pattern?
Not for pre-K if they're not commingled.
Not for pre-K if they're not commingled, and you have to follow the proper grade group. It won't be one blanket grade group. For rollover questions, there's a difference between rolling over your data in the system and that's what I was thinking. Rolling over your data in your system in order to enroll students and rolling over the data year in the wave. Thank you. You are correct, Tammy. Someone admin at the site changes the year. Correct. Yes. I believe they did allow and I don't know, they probably did allow something to roll so that they can work on next year, but the current year information is still there. Yes, there are a lot of grants based on free and reduced applications. I agree that. If you want to take applications, feel free. You can. We didn't say you didn't have to. You don't, or we didn't say not to. You just don't have to. But I agree, there's a lot dealing with that. Sometimes they are doing early enrollment. Okay, as far as the rollover, I think we've got that resolved. Okay. Your student information was rolled over last week as well. I haven't rolled over the lunch admin program. Well, I think like we just said, the student information system something was added so you can go into next year, but that information has not been rolled over completely for this school year because you're not done yet. There's still information that has to go into it. Say they roll up student information things, not the lunch admin. Her directions say not to. Okay. So if we are feeding on summer feeding, you will change to SSO when the school year starts in August. You may do summer feeding through the school year. No, we have already rolled. Okay, that's a duplicate question. Okay, I have already rolled. Okay, that's about rollover. Without the free and reduced apps and no income, where will the districts get their Title I E-rate and grants? You will be able to continue to use the economically disadvantaged form, yes, that they collect, yes. Will there be a request to waive the whole grain if not expected by the students like in the past? We're waiting to hear. We do have that ability to issue waivers on a case-by-case basis. We have not been told if one of those cases would be just because the kids don't like it. We're waiting on guidance on that. If we do not take apps but need the information for low income report, then what? Well, we would have to wait to see if USDE will allow for the 1920 low income report to roll to 21-22. So there'll be more guidance coming on that.
Lindsay, we think we fixed
Oh
that.
my, apparently now I know what the problem was. I got to that point in the chat. We apologize for that. That was outside of our control.
Oh, y'all don't need to type
Um,
in the chat.
So all schools can do SSO, correct.
I think we were hijacked. I don't think it was any of our people.
I'm
doing
being
it.
asked if we need to increase student meal prices to stay in line with the federal rate. We did not do the PLE, so do not know how to go about this. Well, you won't be charging for meals next year because you'll be serving everybody for free. So I don't think you need to worry about that for next school year. Okay. Will the secretaries also have to watch the PEB training also? Our secretaries, yeah, I would recommend that once the training's information sent out, that yes, the secretaries would watch that. It probably will pertain more to them than you all. Okay, we got all that. We let's see, we can still do supper meal programs under at-risk for on-site kids and only take off-site if virtual kids come pick up meals. Is that correct? Yes, you can do that till the end of this school year. Once summer hits and your school year's over, you can't do at-risk anymore for the summer. You would then pick it back up for the school year. She turned the camera. Okay, that's all about. One more time, it is only the lunchroom that you do. I missed, okay. I missed first of the meeting. Are waivers going to be the same? Are there new ones?
Tell them the thing will be posted.
Yeah, the chat will be posted. I'm not going to go through the 12 waivers again right now. ABVM. We are having ABVM that will be going out Monday. We'll have a combination of Zoom and in person. Training dates come out next week. SWIN 9 new waivers, 3 extended waivers. Thank you. If we don't do lunch apps, what about carryover pay status? Pay status. So the pay status, if we don't do lunch apps, what about carryover pay status for school year 22-23?
We don't know anything about.
Why wouldn't, I don't, as far as carryover, that hasn't been addressed in any way, shape, or form yet through USDA. I'm hoping that'll come out. Some of that will come out in the Q&A that's expected.
Let's worry about this next school year, don't get ahead of ourselves for 22-23
Island
yet.
Milk just text me, flavored milk will be fat-free. You do not need a waiver to do fat-free milk, no.
You need a waiver to do 1%.
So no whole grain waivers at all now because of kids not liking certain whole grain products. We don't know for sure yet, but I believe since that has to be done on a case-by-case basis, I'm not sure that kids just not liking the product is something they're going to allow us to approve that waiver on, but there's more to come on that. I don't want to take applications. I don't want to spend the money on paper, labor, and other programs. I get you. It's extra work. Grants will also take the information off the economically disadvantaged forms. Okay, thank you. The acronym SIS stands for Student Information System. That's what the administration and the enrollment and everything dealing with the student is in the student information system. I missed the answer to, will we be allowed to serve weekend meals in 21-22? We don't know yet. We don't know anything about weekend meals. Sometimes our percentage of free and reduced goes up based on applications. Direct certs are not our only eligible eaters. Yeah, that is, I agree. That's correct, but you will be, if you want to take apps, you can. Will USDA publish the free reduced application for 21-22? As far as we know, it's the same application, but we will go ahead and make date changes for it to reflect 21-22, and we'll get that put online. As far as I know, they're not making any changes to the prototype. Our student information has already enrolled. This one we're talking about. I think you're going to be okay. It's the information going into the wave, so I think you're going to be okay. Okay. Wow, I finally got to the end.
I thought 100 and some questions are still up there. But, oh my gosh.
Okay. Oh,
Yes.
I just got another one. Sorry. Should we still document direct cert? Yes, you're still going to want to pull direct cert 3 times a year or more if you want, but the minimum is 3 times a year, once if you're CEP or provision. Nancy's still counting down.
Tell them sorry about the inappropriate.
Sorry about what came up on there. I didn't see any of it. So we can't do anything about that. SSO is, codes, yes, 763 and 764, yes. Yes, SSO is 763 and 764 for OCAS. Anybody else? So we need to send a letter for DC to parents since everyone is free. We are asking about how that's going to be handled with the public release for this year, the USDA. We have 2 on the CAR system now, one for traditional meals and one for provision type meals. And we're asking them which one you all will have to do since everybody will eat free. There's more to come on that. Thank you for all your hard work too, guys. That is correct. Right now it is 100% whole grain, not 50%. Correct.
Whole grain rich.
Whole grain rich. Whole grain rich. That is correct. Okay, we'll give it just a few more. What about the kids on SNAP? Do we still have to report them? I'm drawing a blank on what.
Yeah, they still need to report their direct cert.
Oh, I have gotten a text from a superintendent, not our superintendent, but a superintendent out there about some flashy things going on our Zoom call.
They're on the wrong call.
It happened on a state board meeting too, so I guess I have to be lucky. I was on that one, so I know. Okay, sorry, you guys are asking questions. I'm getting distracted. Can we post on our school website that, yes, you can. Yes, absolutely. Yeah, I think it'd be great. We will still take care of special milk on NSLP and get reimbursed. As far as I know, you will. So we're hoping to get guidance on that, but we haven't heard that you wouldn't. So anyway, again, I do expect questions and answers to be coming out. I'm not so sure it'll be before our next call, but like with all our calls, how I end them, if we need to get back with you before our next call, we will. It's going to be on the 10th. So I really hope we have questions and answers by then. It would be awesome if we could have them. It would be at 1:30 on the 10th.
Watch for the emails.
Yeah, we'll have emails and postings about that. The waivers are posted in CARS. This chat, this PowerPoint and recording will be posted in CARS. If you have questions, reach out to us or reach out to your area consultant at any time. That's all I've got. I haven't had any more chats come through, so I'm just going to end. We've been on a little over an hour now. We did get a little bit of a late start for some technical difficulties, but that's okay. Again, we apologize for what happened. We have no control over that. And you guys enjoy the rest of your day. It is Friday, by the way. Yay, have a great weekend. And school's almost out. You guys can do it. You've been doing great all this time. Keep it up. We appreciate everything you've done, and we will talk to you on the 10th at 1:30, if not before. Bye, everybody.